What is going on, guys? Welcome to this collection video. Today I'm going to showcase my shoot 'em up collection for 2016. Starting to gear up for Tight White's greatest shooter of all time tournament. I'm definitely excited about that because I'm a huge fan of the shoot 'em up genre, and I'm pretty interested to see where some of my favorite shooters are going to fall in the tournament. So it's going to be great. Link to Tight White's channel will be in the description down below. Even though most of you that subscribe to my channel already subscribe to Tight White, check it out. It does a lot of varied videos. There's pickup videos, eBay slays, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I'm not real sure if Jeff has all the details hammered out just yet, but he's working on it. The bracketology and which shooters are going to be in, which shooters are going to be out, kind of thing. So stay tuned to his channel for more details on that. One thing he did mention is he's going to stick only to horizontal and vertical scrolling shooters. So some of my entries, which are considered shooters, or shoot 'em ups, I say shooters, shoot 'em ups, whatever, which would be considered shoot 'em ups, actually won't be allowed to be in his tournament because they don't meet that criteria. So, all right, he hasn't really said if we're doing handhelds in the tournament, but got one here. I've had this game since I was a kid. Absolutely love it. First shooter on the docket is Solar Striker for the Nintendo Game Boy. Very short game, but yeah, it's not bad. Here's one that, unless you're a Game Boy Advance or a shoot 'em up fanboy or fangirl, you may not have heard of, but it's Iridium 2. Very, very pretty 2D vertical scrolling shooter for the Game Boy Advance. So that's pretty awesome. So let's just slide right into the Nintendo shoot 'em ups, man, because that's seems to be the biggest stack here. First one, gotta have 1943, man. That thing is a classic game. We got Gradius. I actually still haven't even played this one. Legendary Wings. I got that at a Goodwill for $1.99. Sky Shark. That's a pretty tough shoot 'em up. One of my favorites right here, Star Soldier. Now, like I said, I don't know what all the rules are, but here's Xevious. This is a shoot 'em up technically, but it doesn't really have an end. It just kind of loops after level 10. So yeah, Xevious, one of my all-time favorite games to play when I was a kid. Game I recently picked up, man. Could be a sleeper if it gets in the tournament. Zanak. And last but not least, my brother and I spent a whole shit ton of time playing this one. Tiger Heli. Love it. So we'll throw these right up on the shelf. We got one boxed NES game that I guess technically is a shoot 'em up, even though it's not that good, and I probably wouldn't even put it in the tournament, but it is one of my shoot 'em ups. We've got Tailspin for the NES. Good old Disney Capcom, man. They knew how to make games back then. Although I wouldn't say that that's, one of their finer games. Okay. All right, sliding over to my next favorite console for shoot 'em ups, man. The Super Nintendo. And there's some decent ones. Unfortunately, this one's not even a decent one. This is D-Force. I wouldn't expect that one would be in the tournament at all. We've got Darius Twin. Earth Defense Force, which is okay. A game that I hadn't heard of until earlier this year. Supernova. Best cover art of all time, man. Phalanx. Old dude with a banjo with the starship flying in right behind him. This game is hard as balls. This game should absolutely be in the tournament, though. Super R-Type. Still haven't beat that game. I've gotten to the level before the last level. This game should be in the tournament, and will have a strong showing, as it's got a great fan following. And it's a pretty good shoot 'em up as well. UN Squadron. Yeah. That's probably my favorite shoot 'em up for the Super Nintendo that I own. Alright, we got one shoot 'em up for the Nintendo 64. Tight White already showed this one off, but it is a fantastic game if you ever get a chance to play it. Star Soldier Vanishing Earth. Now, it's still like a $10 game, $12 game, so it's pretty affordable. It's really, in my opinion, the only true shoot 'em up on the Nintendo 64. as we're not counting like 3D shoot 'em ups in this tournament like Star Fox 64. But yeah, it's got really cool gameplay, lots of varied weapons. You know, you got your screen clearing bomb. The enemies are really cool, and it's got like a 2.5D element to it, which, you know, I kind of love that stuff. It's right in that time when they were experimenting, trying to figure out what they wanted to do with some of these genres. All right, staying cartridge cool right here. We're going to slide over to the Sega Genesis shoot 'em ups that I own. First one is Battle Squadron. Picked that one up recently. Tested it, works, but I really didn't put a lot of time into it. Here's a fantastic one, Thunder Force 2, that somebody wrote on. All right, so all the rest of these here are complete in box, and I would expect that they would have strong showings if they happen to make it into a tournament. The first one is Soldice. Excellent shooter. Lightning Force. And then, if this were in the tournament, I would project that this one would go pretty far. We've got Wings of War. Absolutely awesome. Now again, I'm not sure if this would even qualify, but for the Sega Master System, we've got Fantasy Zone 2, The Tears of Opa Opa. It's a 2D shoot 'em up, but it's not a side-scrolling or vertical shooter. So it's got more of a defender type gameplay where you can switch forwards, backwards, you know, that kind of thing, and the screen kind of moves with you. So like I said, I don't even know if that one would qualify, but it is a pretty fun shoot 'em up to play. Let's get these over there. All right, so moving on out of the console, or not the console genre, I'm sorry, out of the cartridge genre. We'll start with PlayStation 1. Here's another shoot 'em up that it's actually kind of interesting, and it's pretty cheap. I think I picked this up at like a video game store for like $1.99. It's Shooter Starfighter San Vane, and it is an Age Tech game. Now, this absolutely probably wouldn't make it into the tournament, as it is an arena-style shooter where you're kind of confined to a little area. You're supposed to destroy all the enemies in the quickest amount of time, and then you move on to the next part of the arena, and you kind of wash, rinse, and repeat until you either die or you run out of time. You can kind of see there what's going on. Here's another one, Shooter Space Shot, very generic 2D scrolling shoot 'em up. I guess it's okay for what it is. Here's a heavy hitter right here. Excellent shoot 'em up. Einhander for the PlayStation 1. Squaresoft, I'm telling you, I think you missed the boat, because this could have had sequel after sequel after sequel, and it would have been great, especially as technology got better. But yeah, definitely Einhander. I remember playing Einhander on the demo disc that came with the PlayStation magazine back in the day, and I just played level 1 over and over and over, because that's all it let you play. And when I finally got the game, I was an expert at level 1, and then all the levels after that, you know, you kind of get wrecked around until you figure it out. But definitely an excellent shooter. I would put that probably as my favorite shooter in my collection right now. All right, PlayStation 2. We've got a couple here. We've got R-Type Final. Yeah, you got to really love shoot 'em ups to play this one, man. It's frustrating. Classic R-Type. Plenty of ships, all that stuff. Then we've got Capcom Classic Collection, which is a mouthful to say, but it is an awesome compilation disc. You get all your great Capcom games on there, Street Fighter, Ghosts and Goblins, but there are 3 shoot 'em ups on here. You get 1942, 1943, and 1943 Kai. So that's pretty awesome. I do have 2 other PlayStation 2 shooters that I forgot to get. They're right here. I actually did Let's Plays of both of these games on my channel, so definitely check them out. Mobile Light Force 2. You wouldn't know by the cover art, but this is an excellent bullet hell type shooter. And they actually made this game for the PlayStation 1. It's called Mobile Light Force. So yeah, definitely check it out. Like I said, I did a Let's Play of that on my channel. And here's one that would be a strong contender in my opinion. Castle Shikigami 2 for the PlayStation 2. Again, beautifully done bullet hell style shoot 'em up. lots of characters, a lot of replayability, and I did a Let's Play of it, so if you're interested, check it out. So there's our PlayStations. Moving on to Xbox, the original Xbox. Yeah, Tecmo Classic Arcade. Believe it or not, this actually has 2 shoot-'em-ups on it. It's got a vertical scrolling shooter called Star Force, and it's got a pretty interesting side-scrolling shooter called Stratofighter, which is kind of interesting because as the screen is scrolling, you can shoot forward, obviously, but there's a mechanic where you can turn around and shoot backwards, even though the screen is scrolling in the opposite direction. So, yeah, and this is a pretty inexpensive game as well, like a $10 game. So, all right, moving on to the Nintendo Wii, the sequel to Castle Shikigami 2, the Castle of Shikigami 3. Like I said, for the Wii. Again, I didn't think this one was as good as Castle Shikigami 2, but it's still a pretty awesome shoot 'em up. Basically more of the same stuff. And then we've got this, the SNK Arcade Classics Volume 1. On here there is a shoot 'em up called Last Resort, which is sort of similar to R-Type. Takes a lot of patience to play, but with unlimited continues, because it is the arcade version, you know, eventually you will get through it. Pretty interesting power-up system as well. So, yeah. There's a couple shoot-'em-ups for the Wii. Last but not least, the Xbox 360, a console that I just really started picking up games for this year. I have a copy of Aki Katana, which is a cave shoot-'em-up. And this one is still factory sealed. So, I would totally open this, though. I want to play it. Here's the thing. I haven't opened it because, you know, if it for some reason rises in value, I can sell it and then just buy an open copy and maybe make a couple bucks. But if not, I'll just end up opening this and playing it for sure, because it looks awesome. And last but not least, you guys saw I did a Let's Play of this one. Beautiful cave shoot 'em up. We've got Death Smiles for the Xbox 360. Like I said, beautiful game. I did a Let's Play of it. The video is down below. Check it out. So, yeah, guys, that is going to do it. That is my entire shoot 'em up collection for 2016. Like I said, I really enjoy the shoot 'em up genre. I love the fast gameplay of it. I love when stuff explodes real good. I love a lot of these have different characters or different ships kind of thing. So there's a lot of replayability to a lot of these games, and they don't take a great deal of time, right? You can put a couple hours into it, put it down. Not like an RPG where you might put 40 to 80 hours into it. You know, I think like Castle Shikigami is like a 40-minute game. You know what I mean? So, yeah. That's it, guys. That is my shoot 'em up collection for 2016. If you have any comments or anything that you want to say about any of these shoot 'em ups, definitely put it in the comment section down below. And Tight White, I am looking very forward to this greatest shooter of all time tournament. So, best of luck with that, bro. And we'll see you guys next time.